Best bike tours in Europe. Hello and welcome back to One Cosmos, where we talk about traveling destinations and all things related to tourism. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified on updates. While seeing a destination by train might be one of the most romanticized ways to travel, there's nothing quite like feeling the wind in your hair as you cycle across the continent. Because many European countries are bike-friendly, there's no better place to embark on a multi-day journey that blends physical activity with plenty of sightseeing. In this video, let's discuss the best bike tours in Europe, starting from an easy ride through France's Champagne region to an advanced route through Norwegian fjords. Balkan Beauty, Dubrovnik Circular. For those after a challenging trip, the 8-day Balkan Trilogy Tour offers a decent workout with about 80 kilometers covered each day. Starting and finishing in Dubrovnik, the tour encompasses some of the region's best road rides. It takes in villages, vineyards, and the Dinaric Alps, crossing into Bosnia-Herzegovina and Montenegro, with a ride around the Bay of Kotor and the Lovsen National Park. It's an incredibly varied route with the chance to clock up some beach time on the Dalmatian coast, including a trip out to the island of Corčula. The Napoleon Expedition. This epic 45-day, 2,736-mile route from the ride-and-seek bicycle adventures roughly traces Napoleon's 1812 Russian campaign. It begins in Paris, with a spin down on the Champs-Élysées, followed by aperitifs under the shadow of the Arc de Triomphe, before departing for Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Russia, through rolling vineyards, deep forests, medieval villages, and historic cities. As you enter Moscow on the last day, know that you're guaranteed a much warmer welcome than the diminutive Corsican received when he triumphantly ended his march in Red Square. Greece's coast and islands by boat and bike. Explore the wealth of culture and history on show throughout the Peloponnese and Saronic islands of Greece, taking in an abundance of notable sites including the Mycenaean fortress, castles, and an ancient temple. Pedal through diverse landscapes with rides along the beautiful coastline and through fragrant apricot and orange groves. Stay on board a stylish wooden Turkish gullet with time to relax on glistening beaches with turquoise waters. Undiscovered Puglia with VBT. In Italy's Puglia region, located on the heel of the boot, you'll find all of the country's quintessential attractions: historic villages, beautiful coastlines, and delicious wines without the crowds. This relatively untouristic region is one of the country's best-kept secrets. Over 7 cycling days, you'll visit a farm with an olive oil mill in Ostuni, swim in the Adriatic Sea in the coastal town of Otranto, and explore the prehistoric Servi grottos in between dining on fresh seafood and local wines. Andalusian Minder, Granada to Seville. New for 2017 from cycle travel specialist Gadadil is this guided tour taking in 3 of Andalusia's most exciting cities. The 9-day trip ties together Cordoba, the birthplace of flamenco, Granada, a city known for its fine architecture, and Seville, a buzzing destination with a rich culture and great tapas bars. The tour is at a leisurely pace on a route that meanders through craggy sierras, passing cattle-topped villages. L'Étape du Tour. Each year since 1993, more than 10,000 cyclists have registered for L'Étape du Tour, a one-day event that allows amateurs to ride one of the mountain stages of that year's Tour de France, while the pros have a rest day. On this 5 or 7 day, each day features routes that were stages in previous tours, culminating in a guaranteed spot in L'Étape du Tour, which will be a 87-mile day climb being Col de Chaussy, Col de la Croix de Fer, Col du Moulard, and a summit finish at La Toussaint. A tour of 2 halves in Mallorca, Spain. The largest of Spain's Balearic Islands, cycling holidays in Mallorca combine rich culture with fascinating natural history. The authentic towns and pretty villages are home to medieval sites, traditional shops, and markets that you'll pass prehistoric ruins in between. While there are rides inland past windmills, orange groves, and UNESCO-listed mountains, much of this tour takes place along the impressive coastline. Highlights include pink salt lakes, natural sea arches, and the beautiful dragon caves, and there are plenty of opportunities to stop for a swim too. Belgian beers in Ciclismo. On this 9-day mid-level tour with Ciclismo, cyclists will be able to take in the best of Belgium, from beer to World War II history. The route begins with a day in Luxembourg, where you can explore an old castle and monastery in the village of Clerval. You'll then cycle about 41 miles per day up and down hills through the Belgian countryside, stopping at breweries for craft beer tastings, war memorials, and charming villages including the iconic town of Bruges filled with fortresses, castles, and old churches. You'll even hop the border into the Netherlands and stop in the seaside town of Sluis, known for its classic windmills. Dali by the Danube, Passau to Belgrade. A 2-week jaunt cycling and traveling by boat from Passau, Germany, along the Danube and through some of Central Europe's finest cities, this is bound to be a memorable bike adventure. The itinerary takes place in Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest, and Belgrade, from Austria's Wachau region with its vineyards and castles and the majestic Danube bend at Sklogen. Other highlights include the Canyon of the Iron Gates National Park and the Esztergom Basilica, the biggest church in Hungary. Accommodation takes the form of the MV Theodore Corner, a spacious Art Deco boat that follows crystals along the river. Each day, expect to cycle around 40 to 50 kilometers. Those who want to put their feet up can opt to drift along by boat instead. Land's End to John O'Groats. Starting from the very southwest tip of England and ending almost 1,000 miles away in the northeast reaches of Scotland, this 14-day ride from Peak Tours rolls through patchwork quilt farmlands in the South Craggy Mountains and pristine lakes of the Lake District and the barren moors of northern Scotland. Whenever possible, the route avoids main roads in favor of lovely flowered country lanes and quiet back roads that lead to the out-of-the-way villages and centuries-old inns. Wales Pembrokeshire Coast. The Pembrokeshire Coast in southwest Wales is a pristine national park and a fantastic destination for a cycling holiday. Its rugged headlands and wide beaches give spectacular views and ideal spots for lunch breaks, relaxing afternoons, or even a brisk dip in the sea. The easy to moderate cycling route starts in Fishguard and follows cycleways and minor country lanes with some gentle undulations. Land and sea along the Dalmatian coast with Butterfield and Robinson. Mix your cycling with some sailing on this 8-day journey down Croatia's Dalmatian coast between Split and Dubrovnik. While you'll bike by day through the hills and cliffs of both mainland Croatia as well as some of its islands, the country has more than 1,200 of them. You'll relax at night aboard a luxury yacht that has a sauna and a jacuzzi. Some of the island highlights include the bustling port of Hartown, a popular spot with the yachting crowd, the stunning national park on the island of Miet, olive groves on the sparsely populated island of Vis, and the 8th century walk to Corsulla town. Italian Romance, Mantua to Verona. This is an Italian cycle adventure between two cities known for their rich artistic heritage. Mantua, a Renaissance gem and UNESCO World Heritage Site, and Verona, another medieval city and the romantic setting of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The route between the two is along bike paths and country roads, traveling between 20 and 40 kilometers per day along the Ministro River Valley via Lake Garda, stopping at Peschiera as well as exploring the country park of Sigurta. Expect a trip that ties together the natural and man-made beauty of northern Italy. Scotland's Lochs and Castles. Experience some of Scotland's most spectacular scenery on this tour through the Trossachs and Highland Perthshire. With mountains, lochs, and castles, and whiskey, this tour is a perfect snapshot of everything that makes Scotland a wonderful place to ride a bike. The easy to moderate cycling is on a mix of quiet roads and established cycle paths, with longer and shorter rides available on most days.